I I always right when I start. Always right when I start, huh? She she likes to hear me talk. So yeah, she found her snowman. So yeah, very happy about that. I don't think she'll do this all night. I'm out of my lip mask. Um, I'm gonna read my ear feel. Did a lot of cleaning in the garage today. I don't feel like I saw like much of a difference, like in the garage, but like I could see in the trash. There's like a lot just trash, which it's hard for me with like decisions and all that. But there was a lot. Uh, I took a later shower. There's dry. Had dinner, lunch, breakfast. I ate something. um, yeah, something happened. Right after I ate, I think I was done. Probably. Um. Anyway, just my self-esteem is like really bad, right? Like I've started to feel like, which is really bad. Like after you eat, so like my heart. That's also the adrenaline, like the when you're stressed. Nauseous. Um. So I just take hydroxyzine to try to like calm down. But anyway, I just thought it'd be nice to me tonight. Don't be so mean, because I'm like, yeah, so I'm feeling really bad about myself. So this will distract me. Um, Whatever is in the mysterious envelope will answer a lot of questions. Hence the title. That's exactly where we left off. Oh, it's well, I just saw. I thought I sent my good morning, and then I saw it wasn't sent. I was like, yeah, I didn't mean to make you worried. I was upset. Like, yeah, I don't know, but I'm here. I was cleaning a lot today and dustpan, so I put some music on. And also being Sunday, nobody's supposed to come by the mail or anything. So yeah, but Arthur, I did have that flat tire. And for the AAA to come out, it took quite a while till the whole time, like when I would have been on to finally get home when I'm still dirty. I didn't say anything is wrong with him. Um, well, you know what? So, and this is so this is when she answered the question. So she's finding out at the grandmother's house, Judy, um, or cottage that she hasn't like been to in a while. She's in the sort of a nursing home. I take it. Um, and guys, who's like Trent, that the grandmother was writing something on the typewriter while she was there to this Trent person, someone in the line of Trent Turners. And so the questions, it's going to be something about this and, having to do with, she doesn't yet realize about the adoption, but I think it said, sorry, let me get this down. I think it said, fixing from last night, the children's home, like orphanage for, um, like, I forget the exact name, it was kind of a long name, but that it was, she's now heard the name and read it, and she's Oh, she was thinking anything from, like, was there, like, a baby that there was an affair and they were made to give it up, like, yeah, in my dress. Well, I mean, I bu 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 I haven't, thought of a dress, um, that I didn't wanna get taken down, and you know how things get so short on me, um, but this I thought this was nice because you could still see, like, these really pretty pantyhose, I thought, but they're, like, polka dots until here, and then it has, like, the French seam, so I thought that looked nice. Some people, they like me, um, in blue. John does. Now I'm worried because I haven't seen John, and he, well, being in New Jersey, it's quite cold. How are any of you guys doing? Like, Jerry and Virginia, don't know if you're part of the storm because I know that, New York and New Jersey, in that area are part of it, so oh, thank you. Okay, Terry, I see you. Yeah, it's not because it's not a dress, that's the thing, it's like well, maybe in the UK, it's considered a dress because you guys have a thing called, like, jumper, which I think just means a sweater? Yeah, and you guys it. Okay, I got this nice one over there. Alright, we're good. A dress? Yes. Alright, alright. Sheila has, like, a sore spot on, like, the top of her nose, and I think because she, like, gets, like, allergies, and she did I not do this one for oh, and she, rubs her nose in her allergies, um, like, the bed and stuff, so or the floor, or I worry something hard outside, so I'm keeping an eye on it so it heals, but you can see she's just happy-go-lucky, she's pretty happy right now. Look at your heels. And so, um, well, when I'm done reading, I'll show you, okay? Um, but not right now because I'm just getting started. But I will when I'll take them off when I'm done. Okay. Now, without rethinking it, I hurried across the house, grabbed my purse, and dialed Trent Turner's number, which I now know by heart. The phone rings 3 times before I glance at the clock and realize it's almost midnight. Not at all a proper hour to be calling a near stranger. My mother would be aghast. If you want to win the man's cooperation, this isn't the way to do it, Avery, has just gone through my head when a thick, drowsy, hello, Norner confirms that I have indeed roused him from bed. That's probably why he answered the phone without checking to see who it was. Tennessee Children's Home Society, I blurt out. I calculate that I have about 2.5 seconds before he comes to his senses and hangs up. What? The Tennessee Children's Home Society. What does it have to do with your grandfather and my grandmother? Miss Stafford? Despite the formal form of address, his thick, sleep-laden tone makes the greeting sound intimate, like pillow talk. A heavy sigh follows, and I hear bedspreads creaking. Avery, it's Avery. Please, you have to tell me. I found something, and I need to know what it means. Another long exhale. He clears his throat, but the voice is still deep and drowsy. Do you have any idea what time it is? I glance sleepishly at the clock, as if it somehow excuses my bad behavior. I apologize. I didn't know until after I dialed. You could hang up. I'm afraid if I did, you'd never answer again. A little chuckle cough tells me I'm right. True enough. Please listen to me, please. I've been digging around the cottage all evening, and I found something, and you're the only one who can tell me what it means. I need to know what's going on and what I should do about it. If there's a scandal somewhere in our family's past, it's quite possible that it no longer matters, except perhaps to a few well-preserved members of the old guard gossip brigade. But there's no way to judge that until I know what I'm dealing with. I really can't tell you that. I understand your promise to your grandfather, but no. He suddenly sounds very wide awake and in control. I mean, I can't tell you. I never looked in any of the envelopes. I helped Granddad get them to the people whose names were on them. That's all. Is he telling the truth? It's hard for me to imagine. I'm the type who carefully peels the tape off the wrapping paper and peeks at the Christmas presents the minute they show up under the tree. I don't like surprises, but what were they about? Why did it have to do with the Tennessee Children's Home Society? Children's homes are for orphans. Could my grandmother have been looking for someone who was given up for adoption? As soon as I suggest it, I'm afraid I've said too much. That's just a theory on my part, I add. I don't have any reason to think it's true. I'm better off not opening the door to a potential scandal. I don't know that I can trust Trent Turner, though it takes a man of integrity to live with sealed envelopes for months on end. The elder Mr. Turner must have known that his grandson was made of solid stuff. The phone goes silent and stays that way so long that I wonder if Trent has abandoned the call. I'm afraid to speak, afraid anything I say might tip the balance one way or the other. I'm not terribly accustomed to begging, but finally I whisper, please. I'm sorry we got off on the wrong foot this afternoon, but I don't know where else to go from here. He takes in air. I can almost see his chest filling. Come over. What? Come over to the house before I change my mind. Stunned silence is all I can manage. In response, I'm not sure whether I'm excited or scared to death, or if I'm crazy for even thinking about visiting a stranger's house in the middle of the night. On the other hand, he is a reputable and well known businessman on the island, a businessman who knows that I've unearthed at least some part of a secret, his grandfather's deathbed secret. What if there's sinister intention behind this midnight invitation? No one will ever know where I am. Who can I tell? I can't think of anybody I'd want to let in on this right now. I'll leave a note here in the cottage. No, wait. I'll send myself an email. If I go missing, that's the first place they'll check. The thought feels melodramatic and silly, and then again it doesn't. I'll grab my keys and you won't need your car. I'm 4 cottages down. You're right in the neighborhood? Parting the kitchen curtains, I try to see through the wall of a yupon and live oak. All this time he was practically next door. It's quicker by the beach. I'll turn the back porch light on. I'll be right there. I rattle around the cottage looking for a flashlight and batteries. Fortunately, whatever relatives have been using the place did leave the basics. My phone rings as I'm thumb typing an email to myself, documenting my whereabouts and my time of departure. I jump at least 3 feet and then land hard in a pit of dread. Trent changed his mind already, but the phone number is Elliot's. I'm too wound up to calculate what time it is in Milan right now, but no doubt he's working. I was tied up when you called yesterday. Sorry, he says. I figured, busy day? Rather, he says vaguely, as usual. In his family, the women aren't interested in business. How are things on Disto? Honestly, the grapevine in our family is better than microchip tracking. How did you know I was here? I didn't pin anything. I was like wondering what you're talking about. I thought, did you not see me? Here, I can unpin it though. I didn't pin it on purpose. Hold on. I'm gonna pin this one. Now I'm enjoying pinning. I'll unpin you in a minute. You just enjoy your pinnings. Who wants to be pinned next? Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Can we book your sister and the triplets to go stay at Mother's for a few days? Elliot suggests ruefully. Maybe that'll cure her. Even though I get the joke, it stings. I adore the triplets, even if they are little wild men. You could ask. Despite the fact Elliot and I have only talked about kids as an eventual part of our life plan, he's already concerned that multiple births run in my family. He doesn't think he can handle more than one at a time. Every once in a while, I worry that having kids someday might be never for Elliot. Oh, thank you, Jerry. I know we'll work these things out as we go. Don't most couples have to? So, how long are you at the beach? He says, changing the subject. Just a couple days. If I stay any longer, Leslie will send someone to hunt me down. Well, Leslie's looking out for your best interest. You need to be seen. That's the reason you moved home. I moved home to look after my dad, I want to say, but with Elliot, everything is a step toward something. He's the most achievement-oriented person I've ever met. I know, but it's nice to have a little breather. You sound like you could use one too. Get some rest while you're over there, okay? And don't worry about your mother and the grandkid thing. She'll be focused on something else tomorrow. We say goodbye, and I finish the precautionary email to myself. If I'm never heard from again, somebody will eventually check there. Midnight Tuesday evening, I'm going 4 doors down from the Edisto cottage to talk to Trent Turner about something involving Grandma Judy. Should be back in an hour or so, leaving this message just in case. It feels dorky, but I send it anyway before slipping out the door. Outside, the night is quiet and deep as I walk the path through the dunes, guiding my flashlight to keep a lookout for snakes. Along the shore, most of the cottages have gone dark, leaving only the glow of a full moon and a smattering of lights that seem to flow over the watery horizon. Leaves and seagrass whisper, and on the beach, ghost crabs scuttle sideways through the sand. I sweep the light over them, taking care not to ruin the feeding frenzy by stepping on someone. The breeze slides along my neck and through my hair, and I want to walk and relax and enjoy the soothing song of the sea. I own meditation music that sounds like this, but I seldom take the time for the real thing. Right now, that seems like a shame. I'd forgotten how heavenly this place is. A perfect meeting of land and sea, undisturbed by giant high rises or bonfires and ATVs. I come to Trent Turner's cottage before I want to. My pulse quickens as I slip along a well-worn trail through shrubbery and cross a short boardwalk to a leaning gate. His cottage is of about the same vintage as Grandma Judy's. It sits on short stilts on a large lot with a small outbuilding in the side yard. A stone path leads to the porch steps. Overhead, moths flutter in circles around a single bulb. Trent answers the door before I can knock. He's wearing a faded t-shirt with a tear along the neck and sweats that sag around his hips. His suntanned feet are bare, and he's sporting an impressive case of bedhead. Crossing his arms, he leans against the door frame, studying me. I'm suddenly all hands and feet, like an adolescent on a first date to the middle school dance. I don't know what to do with myself. I was starting to wonder, he says. Whether I was coming, you mean? Whether the phone call was just a bad dream. But his lips curve upward, and I gather that he's joking. Even so, I blush a little. This is such an imposition. I'm sorry, I need to know. What was your grandfather's association with my grandmother? Most likely, he was doing a job for her. What kind of job? He looks past me toward the tiny cabin tucked beneath the trees in the side yard. I sense the struggle in him. He's wrestling with whether or not he's betraying the deathbed promise. My grandfather was a finder. A finder of what? People. Chapter 14. Rill. It's getting on toward dark by the time the viewing party slows down, and the workers start gathering kids to put them into cars and take them back home. By then, I almost don't want to go. All afternoon long, there have been cookies and ice cream and licorice whips and cake and milk and sandwiches and coloring books and new boxes of Crayola colors and dolls for the girls and tin toy cars for the boys. I'm so stuffed I can hardly move. After 3 weeks of not enough food, this place tastes better than anything. I feel bad that Chameleia is missing it all, but then I don't know if she will put up with it either. She doesn't like to be cuddled or touched. I steal a cookie for her and slip it in the front pocket of my pinafore dress and hope nobody checks us over before we leave. The people all call us dearie and sweetie pie and oh precious. So does Miss Can while we're here, just like at the bookmobile. She tells tales that aren't true. Her eyes twinkle and she smiles like she's enjoying getting away with it. Just like at the bookmobile, I keep my mouth shut about what is true. They're perfect in every way, she says to the guests over and over. Wonderful physical specimens and mentally advanced for their ages as well. Many come from parents with talents in music and art. Blank slates just waiting to be filled. They can become anything you want them to be. He's a fine little thing, isn't he? She asks the man and wife who've been holding on to Gabian all day. They played ball and cards, and the man tossed Gabby in the air while he giggled. Now that it's time to leave, the lady doesn't want to give Gabby back. She walks all the way to the front door, and my baby brother holds on around her neck, just like Fern is holding on around mine. I am a Tay, Gabby whines. We gotta go. I shift Fern to my other hip as Miss Polnick tries to shoo us forward to the porch. I don't blame Gabby for fussing. I hate that we have to go back to Miss Murphy's house, too. I'd rather watch Fern read some more books with the nice lady, but the lady left just a little while ago with her mister. She kissed Fern on the head and said, "We'll see you soon, dearest," before she handed Fern to me. Gab, I stopped myself just before saying the name. That'll get me popped on the head at Miss Murphy's house if Miss Polnick hears me. Robbie, you can't stay here. Come on now. We need to find out what happened to Huckleberry Finn and Jim once they got downriver to Arkansas. Remember? I stretch out one arm to him because the other's holding Fern. Gabby won't come, and the woman won't let go either. We'll read the book when we get back to Miss Murphy's. Tell the nice lady goodbye. Silence! Miss Tan looks my way with fire in her eyes, and I pull back, letting my arm drop so quick it makes a loud slap against my leg. Miss Tan smiles at the woman, then swirls a finger in Gabby's hair. Isn't our little Robbie adorable? So charming. Just as quick as she got mean, she's friendly again. I think you hit it off with him. Yes, very much so. The lady's husband steps closer. He gives the collar of his suit jacket a quick tug, so that it's good and straight. Perhaps we should chat a bit. Certainly arrangements can be made so that, quite possibly. Miss Tan doesn't wait for him to finish, but I must warn you, this little darling is definitely a popular one. I've had several ask for him already. Those lovely blue eyes with the dark lashes and the golden curls, such a rarity. Looks like an angel. He could charm most any mother's heart. They all look at my brother, The man reaches across and pinches Gabby's cheek. Then he baby laps real cute. He hasn't giggled like that since the police took us off the Arcadia. I'm glad he's happy, even if it's just for today. Take the other children outside. Miss Tan's voice goes low and flat. She leans close to Mick Polnick and whispers through her teeth, put them in cars. Wait 5 minutes there before you let the driver pull away. Even a little lower, she adds, but I don't think we'll be needing you. Miss Polnick clears her throat and uses a friendly, happy voice we never hear at Miss Murphy's house. To the cars with all of you. Come along. Lark, Stevie, and the other kids scurry to the porch. Fern kicks her feet against my leg and rocks on my hip like she's trying to make a stubborn pony walk out of the barn. But Robbie, roots grow under my feet, and I'm not even sure why at first. The people just want to hug and kiss Gabby a little more. They like to play with the little boys. I've been keeping an eye on Gabby, Lark, and Fern all day. Whenever I could get away from the couple of men who wanted to know who I was and why I was here, since I'm older than everybody else, I've scampered from room to room and window to window, making sure I knew where the babies were and that nobody was being mean to them. But in the back of my mind, I've been thinking about Stevie's sister, who left Mrs. Murphy's house and never came back. I know what happens to orphans, which Sherry and Stevie are, but we're not. We've got a daddy and mama who are coming back for us. Does the woman who has been playing with Gaby know that? Did anybody tell her? She doesn't think he's an orphan, does she? I take another step toward my brother. Here, I can get him. The woman turns her shoulder to me. He's fine. Outside, Miss Polnick's fingers close hard around my arm, and I know what'll happen if I don't do what she asks. I touch Gabby's little knee and say, it's all right. The lady just wants to tell you bye-bye. He lifts a fat little hand and waves at me. Bye-bye, he repeats. His smile fills with baby teeth. I remember when he cut every single one of those. To the car, Miss Polnick's jagged fingernails dig into my skin. She tugs me, and I trip over the threshold on the way out, staggering onto the porch and almost dropping Fern. Oh, goodness, is she his sister? The woman with Gabian worries. No, certainly not, Miss Tan says, lying again. The little ones become attached to the older ones in the home, that's all. It can't be helped. They forget just as quickly, of course. The only sibling to this little fellow is an infant girl, newborn, adopted by a very prominent family, no less. So you can see that he is no ordinary little boy. You picked out our finest. The mother was a college graduate, an extremely intelligent girl, died during the birthing process, unfortunately, and the children were abandoned by their father. But they're no worse for the wear. And wouldn't this one be adorable on your California beaches? Of course, our out-of-state adoptions do involve special fees. Those are the last words I hear before Miss Polnick drags me down the porch steps, telling me under her breath what Miss Murphy will do to me if I don't step it up. Her grip wrenches my arm until I'm sure it's going to break. I don't even care. I can't feel anything. Not the summer dry grass crunching under my feet. Not the stiff shoes the worker gave me this morning. Not the hot, sticky evening air or the too tight dress tugging when Fern kicks and wiggles and reaches over my shoulder. Whimpering, Gabby, Gabby. I'm cold on the outside, like I just fell off in the winter river, and all the blood's gone deep down inside to try to keep me from freezing to death. My arms and legs seem like they're somebody else's. They move, but only because they know what they're supposed to do, not because I tell them. Miss Polnick throws Fern and me in the car with the rest of the kids and gets in beside me. I sit stiff and stare toward the big house and wait for the door to open and someone to bring Gaby in across the yard. I wish for it so hard, the wishing hurts. Where's Gabby? Fern whispers into my ear, and Lark watches me with her sad, quiet eyes. She hasn't said much since we came to Miss Murphy's, and she won't now either. But still, I hear her. You gotta get Gaby in, she's telling me. I picture him crumbing across the yard. I hope. I watch. I try to think. What should I do? Miss Polnick's wristwatch ticks. Tick, 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 tick. Miss Tan's words flit through my mind, zipping off the way water striders do when someone throws a rock in the river. They go all directions at once. Die during the birthing process. My mama's dead. The children were abandoned. Brimey's not coming back for us. The only sibling to this little fellow is an infant girl, newborn. One of the babies didn't die at the hospital. I have a new little sister. Miss Tan gave her to somebody? Is that a lie? Is all of it a lie? Miss Tan can tell a fib so smooth and easy. It seems like even she believes it. Gabby doesn't have a mama who's a college student. Queenie's smart, but she only got through the 8th grade before she met Bryony and took off for the river. It's lies, I tell myself. Everything she says is a lie. It's gotta be. She's trying to make the party people happy, but they'll have to give Gaby him back because Miss Tan knows our daddy's coming to get us soon as he can. Bryony would never give us up. He never let a lady like Miss Tan take my new baby sister if I had one. Never ever. He'd die first. Is Bryony dead? Is that why he hasn't come for us? The car starts, and I jerk toward the window, pushing Fern off my lap. She slides into the seat as I grab hold of the door handle. I'll run back to the house, and I'll tell those people the truth. I'll tell them Miss Tan is a liar. I don't care what they do to me after. Before anything else can happen, Miss Polnick has me by the big fancy hair bow one of the workers prettied me up with this morning. Fern squirms out from between us and lands on the floor with Stevie and Lark. You'll behave. Miss Polnick's lips touch my ear, her breath hot and sour. It smells of Miss Murphy's whiskey. Shouldn't you not? Miss Murphy will give you the closet. And not only will this be for you, we will be tying all of you and leaving you there, hanging like shoes by the laces. Closet is cold and it is dark. Will the little ones enjoy the dark, do you think? My heart beats wild as she yanks my head back. My neck crackles and snaps. Hair pops loose from the roots. A white flash of pain shoots over my eyes. Is that understood? I do my best to nod. She throws me against the door, and my head bounces off the glass. I did not imagine any troubles would be coming from you. Tears storm into my eyes, and I blink hard against them. I won't cry. I won't. The seat bends, sucking me closer to Miss Polnick's bulky body. She lets out a purring sigh like a cat in a sunny chair. Driver, take us to home now. It is time. Oh, thank you, Jerry. Here, I'll take your comment off now. Pinch again. Mm-hmm. Miss Murphy's yeah. Miss Murphy sounds like a bitch. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is so sad. Kids' siblings are close, like, in such a way. Like, especially, well, I don't want to say, like, especially if you have trouble, because I only know of having troubled childhood. But, like, I think having the tightness of it, just the group, and they're on a river, this has got to be so hard. Okay. The seat bends, sucking me closer to Miss Polnick's bulky body. She lets out a purring sigh like a cat in a sunny chair. Driver, take us home. It's time. I worm away and watch out the window as long as I can until the White House with its big columns is gone. Nobody in the car says a word. Fern crawls back into my lap, and we all sit still as stones. On the way back to Miss Murphy's, I look for the river. A little dream finds its way into my mind while Fern hangs on around my neck, and Lark rests against my knee, and Stevie huddles between my feet, his fingers squeezed over the buckles on my shoes. I pretend that when we pass by the river, the Arcadia will be there, and Bryony will see the car. In my daydream, he runs up the banks and makes the driver stop. Bryony opens the door and pulls us out. All of us, even Stevie. When Miss Polnick tries to get in his way, he slugs her in the nose, just like he would if someone tried to steal from him in a pool hall. Bryony kidnaps us the way Huck Finn's daddy does in the story. But Huck's daddy was a bad man, and Bryony is good. He goes back to the house and gets Gabian away from Miss Tan and carries us to a far-off place. But my dream isn't true. The river comes and goes. There's no sign of the Arcadia. And soon enough, the shadow of Miss Murphy's house covers the car. Inside my skin, I'm empty and cold, like the Indian caves where Bryony took us camping one time when we hiked up over the bluffs. There were bones in the caves, dead bones of people who are gone. There are dead bones in me. Rill Foss can't breathe in this place. She doesn't live here. Only May Weathers does. Rill Foss lives down on the river. She's the princess of Kingdom Arcadia. It's when we're marching up Miss Murphy's sidewalk that I think about Chameleia. I feel guilty for imagining that Bryony rescued us from the car, that he took us away without Chameleia. I'm scared of what she'll say when I tell her we haven't got Gabian with us, that I hope he's coming later on. Chameleia will say I should have fought harder, that I should have bit and scratched and screamed the way she would have. Maybe that's right. Maybe I deserve to hear it. Could be I'm just too chicken, but I don't want to get the closet. I don't want them to put my little sisters in there either. Dread steals over me when we get inside. It's the kind of dread that comes on a swolled up river when the spring melt happens and you see ice floe headed straight for the boat. Sometimes ice is so big that you know there's no chance of pushing it away with a boat hook. It's about to hit and hit hard, and if the edge slices the hole, you're sunk. It's all I can do not to shake off the babies and turn around and run out Miss Murphy's door before it closes behind us. The house stinks of mold and bathroom smells and Miss Murphy's perfume and whiskey. The smells grab me by the throat, and I can't breathe. And I'm glad when we're told to go outside, because the kids haven't come in for supper yet. And the clothes are not to be soiled. Miss Polnick hollers after us. I look for Chameleia in the places where I told her to stay. The safe places. She's not in any of them. The big boys don't answer when I ask where she is. They just shrug and go on playing a game of conkers with the Buckeyes they pick by the back fence. Chamelea's not digging in the dirt or swinging on the swings or playing house in the shade under the trees. All the other kids are here, but not Chameleia. For the second time in one day, my heart feels like it'll burst out of my chest. What if they'd taken her away? What if she threw a fit after we left and she got herself in trouble? Chameleia, I holler, and then listen, but they're only the voices of the other kids. My sister doesn't answer. Chameleia! I'm headed for the side of the house, for the azalea bushes. When I see her, she's sitting on the corner of the porch, with her legs pulled tight to her chest and her face buried. Her black hair and her skin are gray with dirt. It looks like she's been in a scrape with somebody while I was gone. There's scratches on her arm, and she's got a skin knee. Guys, speaking of scratches, I got this butt cheek here. I don't know if you can see through the pantyhose, but I fell in the garage when I was cleaning. I know at least on a broken hanger. Because the floor, it's not like, there's like layers sometimes of stuff. There's not just like, how would you describe it? Things in a layers, you know what I mean? It's not like paper, like even layers, but yeah. So there's There's options abound of what else I could scrape my ass on. But yeah, I I got in a scuff with a broken hanger like Chameleia. Maybe that's why the big boys wouldn't tell me where she was. Probably they're the one she tangled with. I leave the little kids by the persimmons and tell them to stay right there and not to wander. And I get up the stairs and walk down the long porch to Chameleia. My stiff shoes echo against the wood. Clack, clack, clack. But my sister never moves. Chameleia? Sitting would get my dress dirty, so I squat down beside her. Maybe she's sleeping. Chameleia, I brought you something. It's in my pocket. Let's go on the hill where nobody can see and I'll give it to you. She doesn't answer. I touch her hair and she jerks away. A little gray cloud puffs out as my hand slides for her shoulder. It smells like ashes, but not like a fireplace exactly. I know the smell, except I can't place it. What did you get yourself into while we were gone? I touch her again, and she ducks her shoulder in, but lifts her head. She's got a bump on her lip, and there's 4 round bruises on her chin. Her eyes are puffy and red, like she's been crying, but it's the look inside them that bothers me most. It's like I'm staring through a window into an empty room. There's nothing inside but the dark. Oh, poor thing. The smell comes off her again, and all of a sudden I know it. Coal ash. Whenever we tied up the Arcadia near railroad tracks, we gather up coal that'd fallen off the trains, heating and cooking, free for the taking, Briny always said. Has Briny been here? As soon as I think it, I know how wrong I am. I know how wrong this is. Something terrible happened. Well, I was gone. What's the matter? I dropped down to the porch, too scared to care about my dress. Little splinters poke my legs. Chameleia, what happened? Her lips hang open but don't make a sound. A tear squeezes from her eye and cuts a pink river through the coal dust. Tell me. I lean down to see her better, but she turns and stares the other way. Her hand is knotted in a fist between us. I take it in mine and pry her open her fingers to see what she's holding. And the minute I do, all the cookies and ice cream from the party come up in my throat. Dirty round peppermints are stuck so tight to my sister's palm, they're melted into her skin. Dirty peppermints. I close my eyes and shake my head and try not to know, but I do. My mind drags me kicking and screaming to Miss Murphy's cellar, into the dark corner behind the stairs where ash coats the coal bin and the broiler furnace. I see thin, strong arms fighting, legs thrashing around. I see a big hand closing over a screaming mouth, the dirty, oily fingers squeezing so hard they leave 4 round bruises. I want to run in the house and yell and scream. I want to smack Chameleia for being stubborn and going over by the azaleas when I told her not to. I want to grab her and hold her close and make everything better. I don't know exactly what Riggs did to her, but I know it's bad. I also know that if we tell, he'll make my sister fall out of a tree and hit her head. Maybe he'll even do the same to me. Then who'll take care of the babies? Who'll wait for Gabian to come back? I grab my sister's hand, slap away the peppermints, and let them bounce onto the porch and fall into a flower bed where they disappear under a trumpet vine. That's what I was afraid of. Mm. She doesn't fight when I pull her to her feet. Come on. If they see you looking like this when the dinner bell rings, they'll think you've been fighting and you'll get the closet. I drag her down the porch like a tow sack of wheat and haul her to the rain barrel and, little by little, pour the water over her skin and wash her off best I can. You tell them you fell off the swing, even though I'm holding her face by my hands. She won't look at me. You hear? Anybody asks about the skin places, and you say you fell off the swing and that's all. Over on the steps, Fern and Lark and Stevie wait for us, quiet as mice. Y'all stay put and leave Camellia be, I tell them. She ain't feeling good. Your tummy hurt? Fern sidles closer, and so does Lark, and Camellia pushes them away hard. Lark looks at me confused. She is usually the one Camellia does like. Let her alone, I said. I see London, I see France. One of the big boys hollers from halfway across the yard. They always start wandering in about now, so they can be first in the supper line. I don't know why. We all get the same thing every single meal. You hush up, Danny boy, I hiss and pull Camelia's dress down over her knees. The workers call him Danny boy on account of he's Irish. Red hair and 1,000 freckles just like James had. He marshals their pack now that James is gone, but Danny boy's mean to the core. He wanders closer, crops his hands on the rope that's holding up his two big britches. Well, ain't you fighting fancy? Guess even them pretty clothes couldn't get you a new mom and daddy. We don't need a new mom and daddy. We got one. Who'd want you anyhow? He catches sight of Camelia's scratched up arm and leg, pushes in closer to see. What happened to her? She looks like she's been fighting. I step up to Danny boy. If I have to get the closet to protect my sister, I will. She fell down and bunged herself around a little, that's all. You got anything to say about it? The dinner bell rings and we line up before anything else can happen. Turns out that evening, it's not me getting the closet I need to worry about, it's Camellia. She's quiet through supper and doesn't eat her food, but when it's time for a bath, she comes alive and throws a wild-eyed fit. She screams like an animal and scratches and kicks and leaves long red fingernail marks on Miss Polnick's arm. It takes 3 workers to hold Camellia down and drag her to the bathroom. By then, Miss Polnick has me by the hair, too. You are not to bathroom. By then, all right, you are not to speak. Not one word, or you will see the consequence. Fern, Lark, and Stevie cling to each other against the wall. In the bathroom, Camellia roars and squeals. Water splashes, a bottle shatters, scrub brushes clatter, the door shakes in its frame. Riggs! Miss Polnick yells down the stairs. Come with my rope. Bring my rope for the closet. And just like that, Camellia is gone. The last thing I see of her is a worker hauling her off down the hall. Caterpillar wrapped in a bed sheet so she can't kick her head. That night we're just 3. I don't take out our book to read it, and my baby sisters don't beg for more of the story. Lark and Fern and me curl up in one cot together, and I hum one of Queenie's old songs until my sisters fall asleep. Finally, I drift away too. Sometime before sunup, Fern wets the bed for the first time since she was 2.5. I don't even holler at her for it. I just clean it up the best I can and open the basement window the little crack it'll go. I roll up the wet blanket in Fern's drawers and stick them under the bushes where hopefully nobody will find them. I'll sneak through the azaleas later and spread them out so they can dry before tonight. It's when I'm working to spread the blanket over the branches that the wind catches the leaves and they shudder apart long enough for me to see something. Underneath the gaslight by the street, there are people standing and watching the house. In the dawn dark, I can't make out the faces or clothes, just the outline of a crooked old man and a tall, thin boy. They look like Zed and Silas. Just as quick as they were there, the leaves fall back and they're gone. Chapter 15, Avery. Well, she could be imagining it, or, I don't know how far she was from the place, but it's not the saddest thing. I mean, this is just horrible in general, but I mean, what for Gabian, because if it has to be this way, it's hoping he gets a good home. I mean, they can't overpower Miss Tan being a friggin' liar and an evil woman, but Like, of all the possibilities, it's not the worst one. It's horrible, but it's not the worst. What happened to Camellia, it's like she's clearly having severe trauma, and I mean, when we find out what happened to her, it wouldn't shock me if like it's like, you know, pretty bad. But let's see if we find out, which I think we will. Avery. The envelope is surprisingly ordinary, just the plain manila kind that would be used in an office. The contents feel thin, maybe a few sheets of paper, folded in triplicate. So it's not a lot. It's sealed shut, and my grandmother's name is written on the back in a shaky scrawl that bleeds across the margin and drops over in the edge. Granddad's Parkinson's gave him quite a bit of trouble toward the end, Trent explains. He rubs his forehead, frowning at the envelope as if he is wondering again whether he should have broken the oath by giving it to me. I know I'd be wise to open it before he changes his mind, but guilt stings. Trent looks as if he's fallen at or failed at something. I'm the cause of that. I understand loyalty to a family all too well. It's the very thing that has driven me here in the middle of the night. Thank you, I say, as if that will help. He kneads an eyebrow with his fingertips and nods reluctantly. Just so you know, it may make things worse, not better. There was a reason my granddad spent so much of his time helping to find people. After he and my grand married and took over the family business in Charleston, he went to law school so he could handle his own real estate contracts. But he also did it for another reason. When he was 18, he found out he was adopted. Nobody ever told him. His adopted father was a sergeant in the Memphis Police Department, and I don't know that they were ever very close. But when Granddad learned he'd been lied to all his life, that was the last straw. He joined the army the next day and never talked to his adopted parents again. He looked for his birth family for years, but never found them. My gran always felt like it might have been better if he hadn't run across his records in the first place. To tell his adopted parents had destroyed them. That's a bit of wisdom my father has shared with me many times. Secrets also make you vulnerable to your enemies, political or otherwise. What's this? No, I'm not playing with you right now. You play with yourselves. Go on up. Go on up. Go on. Good girl. Here. And your biscuit? Here. Okay. The adhesive loosens bit by bit as I pull. I work it slowly, like my mother opening a birthday present, taking care not to tear the paper. Guess there's no time like the present to find out, I say. Gingerly, I remove a smaller envelope that has been opened at some time in the past. The papers inside are folded together like a brochure or an electric bill, but I can tell they're official documents of some kind. Across the table, Trent looks down at his hands as I lay out the contents. There's no point in thanking him again. It won't save him from wrestling with his conscience. I want you to know you can count on me to do whatever is best with this. I won't let it cause some kind of family issue. I respect your grandfather's concern, given the kind of research he was doing for people. He knew firsthand what could happen. A noise in the house causes both of us to turn as I'm flattening the documents on the table. I recognize the sound of little bedtime feet on a sandy floor. I halfway expect to see one of my nieces or nephews standing in the corridor, but instead there's a 3 or 4-year-old tow-headed boy with sleepy blue eyes and the most adorable cleft in his chin. I know where he got that. Trent Turner has a son, Is there a Miss Turner sleeping back there? The strangest hint of disappointment tinges the thought, a faint shade of green. I catch myself checking for a wedding ring before looking back at the little boy and thinking, stop that, Avery Stafford. What's wrong with you? It's times like this that I wonder what really is wrong with me. Why don't I feel like a woman who's been bonded with her soulmate forever and ever? End of story. Both of my sisters fell head over heels for their husbands and seemingly never had any second thoughts. So did my mother. So did my grandmother. The little boy eyeballs me as he circles the table, yawning and scratching his forehead with the back of one arm. He is dramatic about it. He looks like a silent movie actress practicing an exaggerated swoon. Are you supposed to be in bed, Jonah? His dad asks. Yeah, and you're up because Trent may be trying to sound tough, but his face has pushover written on it. Jonah braces both hands on his daddy's knee, lifts a leg, and begins to climb him like a jungle gym. Trent hoists the boy up, and Jonah stretches closer to whisper, is a pterodactyl in my closet. Or a pterodactyl, sorry. I know how to say it. A pterodactyl. Uh-huh. Jonah, there's nothing in your closet. That's just the movie the big kids let you watch over in Aunt Lou's, remember? You've had another bad dream about it. A dinosaur wouldn't even fit in your closet. There are no dinosaurs in there. Yeah, Jonah sniffs, clinging to handfuls of his dad's t-shirt. He swivels enough to study me over, a wide-open yawn. I shouldn't get involved. I might be just making things worse. I have, however, been through this dinosaur thing during holiday sleepovers at Drayton Hill and vacations with my sister's kids. My nieces and nephews had the same problem. They were scared of dinosaurs too, but do you know what we did? Jonah shakes his head and Trent gives me a quizzical look. Sandy blonde brows twisting together. He has a very flexible forehead. Two identical sets of blue eyes invite my solution to the closet dinosaur dilemma. Fortunately, I have one. We went to the store the next day and picked out flashlights, really awesome flashlights. If you've got a really awesome flashlight by your bed, then when you wake up at night and you think you see something, you can turn on the light and shine it over there and check. And do you know what happens every single time you turn on the flashlight? Jonah waits breathless, his little cupid's bow mouth hanging open, but Dad clearly knows the answer. He looks like he wants to palm thump himself in the forehead as if to say, why didn't I think of this before? Every single time when you shine the flashlight, nothing's there. Every time. Jonah's not sure. Always honest. Jonah turns to his father for confirmation, and a sweet look of trust passes between them. This is obviously an involved dad. He slays monsters and does tuck-in time. We'll go pick out a flashlight tomorrow at the buy low. Sound good? I notice he doesn't say, Mom can take you. To get a flashlight tomorrow. I also notice that he doesn't tell his son to be a big boy or insist on hustling the poor kid back to bed. He just shifts Jonah to one shoulder and lays a palm on the table, the fingers pointing to the document pressed beneath my hand. Jonah pops a thumb into his mouth and snuggles against his dad's chest. I look down at the papers, surprised that they temporarily left my mind. Jonah is irresistibly cute. The top page is a grainy photocopy of some sort of official form. History sheet. The heading reads in bold black letters. Below, the subject has been given a number of record. 7501. Age inf. Sex male. The baby's name is listed as Shad Arthur Foss. Church relationship unknown. The corner of the form is stamped with a date on October 1939 and was apparently filled out at a hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. Mother's name, Mary Ann Anthony. Father's name, B.A. Foss. Could be Brimey. The address for both parents is listed as Indigent River Camp. Both the father and mother were in their late 20s when the baby was born. The official responsible for the form, Miss Eugenia Carter, has explained the infant situation in a few short words under clinical sounding headings. Cause for release to TCH Society, born out of wedlock, unable to provide. How? Released. Surrender, signed by mother and father at birth. I don't recognize these names, I mutter, separating the sheet form and the others and setting it quietly on the table. Granted, we have a lot of relatives, but I've never seen a Foss or an Anthony on a wedding invitation or met one at a funeral. I can't imagine how any of this could be connected to my grandmother. This might have been around the year she was born, I guess. Grandma Judy's age changes every time you ask her. She admits to nothing and considers it gauche for anyone to inquire in the first place. Maybe Shad Arthur Foss was someone she knew in school later. Could she have been trying to help a friend track down birth information? The next page is a copy of a case history sheet on baby boy Foss. Birth date, September 1st, 1939. Birth weight, premature, 4 pounds. Present weight, 6 pounds, 9 ounces. Baby arrived prematurely, weighing only 4 pounds at birth. It's quite small, but it's happened. He has developed normally in every way. Con was negative. Wasserman and smear on mother were negative. Has had no childhood illnesses or immunizations. Mother, 28 years of age, American born of Polish-Dutch extraction. High school education. Blue eyes, blonde hair, about 5 feet 6 inches tall. Weight 115 pounds. Protestant in religion. Considered very attractive and intelligent. Father, 29 years of age, American born of Scotch, Irish, and Cajun French extraction. High school education. Brown eyes, black hair, about 6 foot 1 inches tall. Weight about 175 pounds. No church affiliation. No inheritable diseases exist on either side among the families, and despite extramarital errors of these young individuals, both maternal and paternal families are hardworking and well respected in their own communities. None have interest in custody of the children. I pass the second document across the table to Trent, who is looking at the first one. The third page reads, Parents or guardians surrender to Tennessee Children's Home Society. Help a child find a home is our motto. Baby Shad's sad story is told again in uneven type on dashed lines beside questions like healthy, robust, deformed, crippled, diseased, is child ruptured, is child feeble-minded, fits to be placed in a home. Baby Shad is signed, sealed, witnessed, and delivered. He is transferred to the Memphis receiving home for observation and placement. I really haven't a clue what any of this means, but I do know there's no way my grandmother would have come here to a disto repeatedly to meet with Trent Turner Sr. if it weren't important. I also find it hard to believe that she would have gone this far to help a friend. She had some personal investment here. Are there more of these packets? Did your grandfather leave anything else? Trent looks away, as if he's trying to decide what to tell me, struggling with his conscience again. Finally, he offers just a few other sealed envelopes with names on them like that one. Most of the papers Granddad was able to give to the owners before he passed on. The packets that were left, he pretty much figured were for people who died without his knowing it. Trent pauses to shift Jonah, who's falling asleep on his shoulder. Some cases he kept up with for 50 or 60 years, ever since he started doing the research. How he decided which ones to take on, I don't know. I never asked him. I vaguely remember clients coming to him with pictures and sitting at the table in the little cottage outside, crying and talking, but it didn't happen all that often. He did most of his business at the office in Charleston. The only reason I ever saw any of it was that I came here to a disto with him every chance I got. Once in a while, he'd meet with people here for privacy, I think. I have a feeling he dealt with some pretty high profile clients on occasion. He gives me a meaningful look, and I know he's lumping me into that category. My skin suddenly itches and I squirm under my t shirt. I'm still at a loss as to what this has to do with my grandmother. Is there anything in your grandfather's papers having to do with a woman named May Crandall? Or maybe even someone named Fern or Queenie? I think they might have been friends of my grandmother. He rests his chin on Jonah's downy head. The names don't sound familiar, but like I told you earlier, I didn't go back and read any of the documents after Granddad died. I locked his workshop and I haven't been in there since. A shrug indicates the tiny cabin slumbering beneath the glow of a yard lamp. I just took charge of the envelopes, like he asked me to. Whatever else was left out there, I assumed he didn't think was important anymore. He had a lot of respect for people's privacy, given what he went through when he found out the truth about his parents. He never wanted to take the responsibility of altering someone else's history that way, not unless they asked for the information. So that means my grandmother definitely came to him. Based on what I know about my grandfather's work, yes. He worries his bottom lip contemplatively. I catch myself focusing in on it, almost losing track of what he's saying. If someone else had been looking for your grandmother, a lost relative, say, Granddad would have given them the paperwork and closed out the file once he found your grandmother. He always let his clients make the final decisions about getting in touch. The fact that he hadn't closed this file and that he'd left it marked Judy Stafford means that your grandmother was looking for someone, a person he wasn't able to find. My mind is in hyperdrive now, despite the late hour. Is there any way I could see the rest of it? I know how bold it is to request this now, but I'm afraid Trent may change his mind once he's had time to think about things. A lesson from trial law. If you need your witness to switch tracks, ask for a recess. If not, keep driving hard towards whatever you're after. Believe me, you don't want to go out there at night. That building is an old slave cabin that was moved onto the property, so it's not exactly sealed up tight. There's no telling what might be living in there at this point. I grew up in horse barns. I'm not afraid of much. His mouth quirks, bringing out a dimple. Why does that not surprise me? He shifts Jonah on his shoulder again. Let me tuck him back in our bed, or back in bed. Our gazes tangle, and for a moment we're just looking at each other. Maybe it's the dim lighting from the vintage pictures or the quiet intimacy of the cottage, but I feel something I don't want to feel. It winds through me, languid and warm, noticeable like a tide pool on a summer evening after the air has cooled. I swirl a toe in the waters, laugh softly, feeling myself blush and look down, then steal another glance at Trent. The other side of his mouth curves upward into a smile, and a strange sensation travels all the way to my toes. It's like lightning crackling far off over the water, something unpredictable and dangerous. It stuns me for an instant, and I forget where I am and why I came here. Jonah's head rolls off his dad's shoulder, and the spell is broken. I awaken from it like an early day medical patient coming out of an ether sleep. My mind dawdles. My wits take a moment to line up properly and force me to look away. Somewhere in the process, I glance past my ring finger where right now my engagement ring is missing because before my evening took such a wild track, I removed it so I wouldn't get lotion on it after my shower. What is going on? I've never had something like this happen to me ever. I don't do mental lapses. I'm not easily taken in by people. I don't behave improperly with strangers. The paramount importance of not doing those things has been impressed upon me since birth, and law school was a good reinforcement. I should go. As if on cue, the cell phone in my pocket vibrates, the real world breaking in. My chair squeals as I push back. The sound seems to stop. Trent, unexpectedly. Was he really thinking of letting me into the workshop tonight, or was he thinking of something more intimate? I ignore the phone and thank him for giving me the envelope, then add, maybe we could meet tomorrow in the bright, clear light of day. Look at whatever else is left. I'm taking a risk either way I play this. By tomorrow, Trent may have rethought everything, but here tonight, there are risks of a different kind. I've imposed on you way too long. It was incredibly rude of me to call this late. I'm sorry. I've just been so desperate to figure things out. He stifles a yawn, blinks, and forces his eyelids upward. It's not a problem. I'm a night owl. I can tell, I joke, and a laugh escapes him. Tomorrow. He speaks the word like a promise. It'll have to be after work. I've got a full day. I'll see if Aunt Lou can keep Jonah a couple extra hours. The commitment is a relief. I just hope he feels the same way after he thinks about this. I'll see you in the evening then. Just let me know what time. Oh, and don't leave Jonah at his aunt's on my account. I have a triplet 2-year-old nephews. I love little boys. Gathering Grandma Judy's papers on my flashlight, I take a step toward the door, then stop, looking for a pencil and something to write on. I should give you my phone number. I have it. He pulls a face. On my cell phone about 200 times. That should be embarrassing, but instead we laugh together. She turns toward the hallway. Let me put Jonah down and I'll walk you out to the beach and watch you till you get home. My head says no, but I have to force myself to form the words. It's okay, I know the way. Outside the window, the night is alive with moon glow, the water glistening through the palms around the cottage backyard. Confederate rose and jasmine stir in the sea breeze. It's a perfect combination, the kind only the low country can create. He casts a look my way. It is the middle of the night. Let me be a gentleman about it at least. I wait while he puts Jonah to bed. Then we cross the back porch together and descend the steps. The breeze off the water catches my hair, swirling it into the air, skimming my skin and slipping down my t-shirt. At the bottom of the stairs, I glance at the small slave cabin study and the old wood-paned windows, 6 of them that run all the way across the front porch. Our answers hiding behind the salt-hazed glass. It dates from around 1850. Trent seems to be fishing for conversation. Maybe we both feel the awkward pressure of a setting that begs for something more than casual chatter. Granddad moved it here himself when he purchased the property. He originally used it as an office. This tract was his first real estate deal. He bought the acreage adjacent to the Myers cottage and divided it for this house and the 2 between. Another connection between Trent Turner Sr. and my grandmother. Obviously, they knew each other a long time. Did she enlist him to help her look for someone because she knew he dabbled in such things? Or did his dabbling lead him to my grandmother? Does she suggest that he buy the property next to the cottage? Is the current Trent Turner really as much in the dark about these family connections as I am? Has one generation lived intricately intertwined lives that were, for whatever reason, hidden from the next? The questions tie my brain in knots as we stop at the beach path, where sea oats glisten like strings of spun glass in the moonlight. Nice night, he says. Yes, it is. Watch out, tide's coming up. You'll get your feet wet. He nods toward the sea, and I can't help but look. A trail of glistening waves leads to the moon, and a starry carpet glows impossibly bright overhead. How long since I just sat in the dark and enjoyed a night like this? Suddenly, I'm so very hungry for it. I'm hungry for water and sky and days that aren't divided by the tiny squares in an appointment book. Did my grandmother feel this way? Was that the reason she came here so often? Thanks again for letting me interrupt your evening. I take a backward step from grass to sand. Something scuttles past my foot, but I squeal. Better turn on the flashlight. The last thing I see before surrounding myself with a sphere of artificial illumination is Trent grinning at me. I turn and walk away, knowing he is watching. My phone buzzes again, and while I pull it from my pocket, it's like a gateway to another world. I'm quick to step through. I need something familiar and safe to focus on after that strange moment on the beach with Trent. But Abby, from the office in Baltimore? Why would she be calling me in the wee hours of the morning? When I answer, she's breathless. Avery, there you are. Is everything all right? I got this crazy email from you a while ago. I laugh. Oh, Abby, I'm sorry. I meant to send that to myself. You have to tell yourself where you're going now? That's what the posh life in South Carolina has done to you. Abby is a no nonsense DC girl, an achiever who pulled herself up from public housing to a law degree. She's a fabulous federal prosecutor. I miss having lunch with her and putting our heads together about ongoing cases. If there's anyone I could trust with the information about Grandma Judy, it would be Abby, but it's safer to catch up on things at the office. So I do that instead. Long story. So why are you awake at this hour? Working, discovery tomorrow, laundering and mail fraud, major case. They've hired Bracken and Thompson. Oh, big guns. The legal chatter brings me squarely back home to Baltimore. Whatever nonsense came over me at Trent's house is quickly eclipsed, and I'm glad because I needed to be. Tell me what's happening. My senses heighten in a way that has nothing to do with the night or a glance over my shoulder that finds Trent still watching me. Abby launches into the details of the investigation, and my mind homes in. I'm struck by one undeniable fact. I miss my old life. Chapter 16, Rill. Rise and shine. Looks like finally some sun today, Miss Dodd says as she unlocks the door to the basement room. Miss Dodd is new here since 2 days ago. She's younger than the others and nicer too. If I can get her alone, I plan to ask after Chameleia. Nobody will tell me where my sister is. Miss Polnick said to shut my yap about it and stop bothering the work. He says Chameleia is dead. He says he woke up and heard Miss Murphy telling Riggs that Chameleia died after they put her in the closet and what to do about it. Danny Boy says Riggs carried her body out to the truck to go dump it in the swamp. He says the whole thing with his own 2 eyes. Or he says he saw the whole thing. He says my sister's gone and good riddance. I don't believe a word that it comes out of Danny Boy. He's hateful, clean through the bone. Miss Dodd will tell me the truth. Right now, she's more worried about the stink in the room. It's moldy and drippy down here when it rains. And on top of that, Fern's been wetting the bed every night since they took away Chameleia and Gaby, and I tell Fern not to, but it doesn't help. Mercy, that smell. Miss Dodd gives us a worried look. This ain't a fit place for children. I move between her and the wet cot. I piled it with covers because that's all I can figure out to do to hide it. I spilled the slop pot. She looks at the corner. The cement is dry under the pot. Did somebody have an accident in the bed? Tears pop in my eyes, and Lark backs away toward the corner, taking Fern with her. I grab Miss Dodd's apron and duck my head away at the same time because I'm expecting a smack. Even so, I've got to keep her from going upstairs to get Miss Polnick. Don't tell. Miss Dodd's brown eyelashes flutter over soft gray-green eyes. Why in the name of St. Francis not? We'll just wipe up the mess and it'll be all right. Fern will get in trouble. I guess Miss Dodd doesn't know yet what happens to kids who wet the bed around here. Oh, heaven's sake, no, she won't. Please. Panic runs inside me like a flood tide. Please don't tell. I can't lose Fern and Lark. I don't know for sure what's happened to Chameleia, and after 4 days, I figure those people won't be giving Gabby back either. I've lost my brother. Chamelea's gone. Lark and Fern are all I've got left. Miss Dodd puts her hands on either side of my face and holds me real gentle. Shh, hush up now. I'll see it's taken care of. Don't fret, little Pete. We'll just keep it between us. My tears just come harder. Nobody's held me this way since Queenie. Quieten down now. Miss Dodd looks over her shoulder, nervous like. We best get upstairs before they come looking for us. I nod and choke out. Yes, I'd be the worst thing if I got Miss Dodd in trouble. I heard her tell one of the kitchen women that her daddy died last year and her mama's sick with the dropsy, and she got 4 little brothers and sisters living on a farm up in North Shelby County. Miss Dodd walked and hitched rides to Memphis to find work so she could send the money home. And Miss Dodd needs this job. We need Miss Dodd. I get Fern and Lark together and we march through the door ahead of Miss Dodd. Riggs is hanging around by the boiler, nosy as a kitchen door dog. Like always, I keep my head down and watch him from the corner of my eye. Mr. Riggs, Miss Dodd says, just before we get to the stairs, I'm wondering if you could do me a favor. Ain't no need in telling nobody about it. Why, yes, Before I can stop her, she asks, you think you might mix up some Clorox and water and rub it over the cot that's sitting there by the door? Just leave me the bucket when you're done. I'll wash up the rest afterward. Yes, Ma, I'll do it for you. I sure will. His crooked teeth poke out of his smile, long and yellow like a beaver's. Reckon these kids will be moving upstairs soon. He waves at us with the handle of his shovel. The sooner the better. Miss Dodd doesn't know how wrong she is. Once we get upstairs, there won't be a locked door between us and Riggs. A room in the basement ain't right for young'uns. No. And if the house caught fire, they could wind up trapped. If there's a fire, I'd bust down that door, I would. You're a good man, Mr. Riggs. Miss Dodd don't know the truth about Mr. Riggs. She just don't. Thanks, ma'am. And no needn't telling nobody about the cleaning, she reminds him. It'll be our secret. Riggs just smiles and watches us, his eyes white around the edges, and winter bear crazy. You see a bear moving in the winter, you better look out. He's hungry and he aims to find something to fill that hunger. He won't care much what it is. Riggs' look stays with me throughout breakfast and even later in the day when the yard's finally dry enough for us to go outside. Crossing the porch, I look down at the corner and think about Chameleia and wonder, could Danny Boy be telling it true? Could my sister be dead? It'd be my fault. I'm the oldest. I was supposed to look after everybody. That was the last thing Briny told me before he hurried off across the river. You watch over the babies, Rill. Keep care of everybody till we get back. Even the name sounds strange in my mind now. People keep calling me May. Maybe Rill's still on the river someplace with Chameleia. And Lark and Fern and Gaby, and maybe they're drifting down in the lazy low water summer currents, watching boats pass and barges go by and Cooper hawks circle wide and slow, hunting for fish to dive after. Maybe Rill is only a story I read, like Huck Finn and Jim. Maybe I'm not even real and never was. I turn and run down the steps and cross the yard, my dress sweeping up around my legs. I stretch out my arms and throw back my head and make my own breeze. And for a minute, I find Rill again. I'm her. I'm on the Arcadia, our little piece of heaven. I don't stop when I get to the gate where the big boys have their tunnel. They're busy pestering two new kids who came in during the rain yesterday. Brothers, I think. And I don't care anyway. If Danny Boy tried to stop me, I'd make a fist and knock him flat, same as Chameleia would. I'd knock him on his back right next to the fence and use him to climb up over and get free. I wouldn't stop running until I got all the way to the river bank. I circle the old outhouse, still going as hard as I can, and I take a running leap against the iron bars, trying to get high enough to shinny on over, but I can't. I only make it a few feet before I slide down and hit hard. I grab the bars and I pull and scream and howl like a wild thing fighting in a cage. I keep on until the bars are slick with sweat and tears and tinted with blood. The bars don't give into it. They don't move at all. They just hold, and I sink to the ground and let the tears take over. Somewhere outside my own noise, I hear Danny Boy say, "Pretty girl, done gone around the bend, she did." I hear Fern and Stevie wailing and Fern calling my name, and the big boys teasing them and pushing them down every time they try to get through the gate. I need to go. I need to help them. But more than anything, I just want to disappear. I want to be alone in a place where nobody can find me, where nobody I love can be stolen away. Danny Boy twists Stevie's arm around behind his back and makes him say uncle, then keeps on until Stevie's scream stabs me deep down in the belly. It hits the place I want to make hard as stone, like Arthur's sword. Stevie's scream pierces in. Before I can even think what I'm doing, I'm back across the churchyard. I've got Danny Boy by the hair. "You let him go." I yank hard, and Danny Boy's head pops back. "You let him go. I don't you ever touch him again. I'll snap your neck like a chicken's, I will." Without Chameleia here to do our fighting, all of a sudden I'm her. "I'll snap your neck and dump you in the swamp." One of the other boys turns Fern loose and backs away. He stares at me wide-eyed. From the looks of my shadow, I can see why. There's hair flying in all directions. I look like Medusa from the Greek stories. "It's a fight! It's a fight!" kids yell and come running to watch. Danny Boy lets go of Stevie. He doesn't want to get whipped in front of everybody. Stevie tumbles face first into the dirt and comes up with a mouthful. He spits and cries, and I shove Danny Boy away and grab Stevie's hand and Fern's. We've gotten over the hill before I even notice who's missing. My heart hitches. "Where's Lark?" Fern puts a fist in her mouth like she's afraid she'll be in trouble. Maybe she's scared of me after what she just saw. "Where's Lark?" "Waity." Stevie babbles out the first word I've heard him say since the day we came here. "Waity." I kneel down in the wet grass and look them both square in the face. "What lady? What lady, Fern?" "The lady got her on the porch." Fern whispers through her fingers, her eyes rim with tears. Like this. She grabs Stevie by the arm and lifts him up, dragging him along a few steps. Stevie nods to tell me that's what he saw too. "A lady, not Riggs. Riggs didn't get her." Both of them shake their heads. "Waity," Stevie says. My head is still cloudy with dried up tears and leftover hate. Did Lark get in trouble? Was she sick? She couldn't be. When we came to breakfast, she was just like always. They don't take kids to the sick room unless they're burning with fever or throwing up. I point Fern and Stevie to the playground. "You two go. You go over there on the teeter-totter, and you don't get off no matter what, unless I come get you or you hear the bell. You understand?" Both of them look scared to death, but they nod and link hands. I watch them walk over to the teeter-totter. Then I head for the house on the way past the gate. I let Danny Boy know that if he bothers them, he'll have me to reckon with. My courage comes and goes on the way across the yard. I keep looking at the house, hoping I'll spot Miss Dodd. A hammer pounds in my ears when I tiptoe over the porch. and head into the washroom. My ears when I tiptoe over the okay. Depending on who sees me here, I could get in bad trouble. Somebody might think I'm coming to steal food. The women are at the washer and the ringer when I go by, and do they know what happened to Lark? Would they tell me if they did? Usually we pass like people who are better off not seeing each other. They don't look up and I don't ask. Nobody's in the kitchen and I hurry through so I won't get caught in there. The swinging door groans low when I poke my head into Miss Murphy's front hall. It's almost too late that I hear her voice and see that her office door is open. I think you'll find her delightful. Miss Tan is in the room too. Her voice is sticky sweet, so I know she's talking to someone besides Miss Murphy. Perfect in every way. The mother had to start on a college education before the Depression. Very intelligent young woman, and considered quite beautiful. Clearly, it's an inherited trait. This little one is a regular Shirley Temple, and she won't even need a permanent wave. She is white, a bit quiet, but very well behaved and mild mannered. She won't be any trouble to you in public situations, which I know is so important in your line of work. I do wish you'd allow us to bring her to you there. It isn't our normal procedure to have new parents come to our boarding homes. I appreciate your making accommodations. The man's voice is deep. He sounds like an army commander. It's difficult for us to go anywhere without being recognized. We completely understand. I've never heard Miss Murphy sound so friendly. What an honor to have you visiting right here in my own home. You've chosen one of our best. Miss Tan comes closer to the door. And you will be the best, won't you, Bonnie? You'll do everything your new mommy and daddy ask of you. You're a lucky little girl, and you're very grateful for that, aren't you? Bonnie is Lark's new name. I try to hear if Lark answers, but I can't tell. Then I suppose we must let you go, though we will miss you dearly, Miss Tan says. A man and a woman step into the hall, bringing Lark with them. The man is handsome, like a prince in a book of fairy stories. The woman is beautiful, with fancy hair and pretty lipstick. Lark is wearing a frilly white dress. She looks like a tiny ballerina. Air goes solid in my throat. I push the kitchen door open wide. You have to stop them, I tell myself. You have to make them see that Lark is yours and they can't have her. A hand grabs my arm and pulls me back, and the door swings shut with a slap. I stumble and stagger, and someone drags me across the kitchen and through the washroom. I don't even know who's got me until Miss Dodd spins me around and stands me up, holding both of my shoulders. You ain't supposed to be in there, May. Her eyes are wide. Her skin is washed white. She looks almost as afraid as I feel. You know what the rules are. You bother Miss Murphy and Miss Tan, there'll be the devil to pay. The ball in my throat breaks like a fresh hen egg. It drips down sticky and hot and thick. My sister. Miss Dodd holds my face. I know, darling, but you gotta think what's best for her. She's getting a mama and daddy that are movie stars. She pulls in a breath like she's just won a prize at the carnival fair. I know you'll be sad a while, but it's the best anybody could hope for. Brand new parents and a brand new home, a whole new life. We've got a mama and daddy. Hush, hush now. Miss Dodd starts to drag me down the porch away from the door. I try to pull free, but she won't let me. Hush, you can't start carrying on. I know you wish your mama and daddy could come back after you, but they ain't able. They sign you over to the Tennessee Children's Home Society. Y'all are orphans now. We're not, I wail. I can't help myself. I babble out the truth, all about the Arcadia and Queenie and Bryony and my brothers and sisters. I tell about Chameleia and the closet and the workers saying different stories about what happened to her, and Danny Boy telling me she got dumped in the swamp. Miss Dodd's chin drops and just hangs there. She holds me by the shoulder so tight, skin twists and burns. Is all that the God's honest truth? She asks when I run out of words. I squeeze my eyes shut, nod, and swallow tears and snot. Shh, she whispers and hugs me close. Don't say nothing more now, not to nobody. You go on out with the other kids. Be good and quiet. I'll see what I can learn about it all. When she lets me go, I grab her hand. Don't tell Miss Murphy. She'll take Fern away from me. Fern's all I got. I won't tell. I won't leave you either. I'll find out what happened to your sister. God be my witness. We'll make this right. But you got to stay real strong. She stares into my eyes, and there's fire in her. The fire's a comfort, but I know what I've just asked her to do. If Miss Murphy can make Chameleia disappear, she can get to Miss Dodd too. Just don't let him catch you, Miss Dodd. I'm a sharper knife than folks think I am. She shoos me toward the yard, and just like that, we've got a friend here. Finally, somebody's listening to our story. That night, Fern cries and carries on forever, asking for Lark. I even try reading her some of the book, but she won't hush, and I finally can't stand it. I grab her and squeeze her arms hard and pick her up and stick my face in hers. Stop it. My voice echoes around the tiny room. Stop it. You stupid. She's gone. It's not my fault. Stop it, or you're going to get spanking. I lift up my hand, and it's only after my sister's eyes blink, blink, blink that I see what I'm doing. I drop her on the cot and turn away and grab my hair and pull it until it hurts. I want to pull all of it out, every single piece. I want a pain I understand instead of the one I don't. I want a pain that has a beginning and an end, not one that goes on forever and cuts all the way to the bone. This pain is changing me into a girl I don't even know. It's changing me into them. I see it in my sister's face, and that hurts worst of all. I fall on the cot that Miss Dodd got all washed and clean for us. It smells like Clorox now. 3 peppermints roll out from under the dirty pillow, and I throw them at the slop pot. Fern comes and sits beside me and pats me on the back, the way a mama would do to quiet a baby. The day and this place and everything that's happened here goes through my mind. I see it like a motion picture show, the kind we watch for 5 cents when the carnivals come through the river towns and shine their projectors on the side of a building or a barn. But the show in my mind is wavy and blurry and running too fast. Finally, I sink further, and everything goes dark and quiet. In the middle of the night, I wake up and Fern's snuggled in beside me. There's a blanket over both of us. It's twisted and wadded funny, so I know that Fern must have put it there. I clutch her and dream about the Arcadia then, and it's a good dream. We're all together again, and the day is so sweet. It's like the drops of syrup from a honeysuckle vine. I stick out my tongue and taste and taste. I lose myself in the smell of wood smoke and morning fog so thick it cloaks the opposite bank and turns the river into a sea. I run along the sandbars with my sisters and hide in the grass and wait for them to come and find me. Their voices weave soft through the mist, like I can't tell how close or far they are. On the Arcadia, Queenie sings a song. I sit stone still in the grass and listen to my mama's voice. When the blackbird in the spring on the willow tree sat and rocked, I heard him singing orally, 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 maiden with golden hair, sunshine came along with thee. I'm so lost in her song, I don't even hear the basement door unlocking until the knob's turning. I jump up and see it's morning already. Little strings of sun squeeze through the azaleas and slant across the room. In the corner, Fern's getting off the slop pot and pulling up her drawers. After last night, maybe she's too scared to wet the bed again. Good girl, I whisper, and hurry to straighten the cot. No need in that. You're not going anywhere today. The voice from the doorway isn't Miss Dodd's, it's Miss Murphy's. It hits me like a whip, crackling all through my body. She's never come down here before. How dare you? Her mouth tightens so that her cheekbones poke out. Air hisses through her crooked front teeth. In 3 quick steps, she's got me by the hair. How dare you use my hospitality, my kindness to tell tales against me? Did you think that little hillbilly, that little know-nothing would really be of help to you? Oh, of course she was foolish enough to believe your lies. But all you've done is cost her a job. And Miss Tan will be picking up the little Dodd brothers and sisters soon enough. They've been reported to the Shelby County Welfare, and their paperwork is being processed even now. Is that what you wanted? Is that what you had in mind when you filled her ear with lurid tales about poor Mr. Riggs? My own cousin, no less. My cousin who cleans the mess you blood-sucking nits leave in the yard and fixes your toys and sees to the boiler so the little precious ones won't catch sniffles on cold nights. She turns a hateful smirk toward Fern, who's pushed herself as far as she can in the corner. I didn't. What can I do? Where can I go? I should try to get away and run out the door, but she's got Fern trapped. Don't bother denying it. Shame, shame on you. Shame on you for your lies. I provided with you with so much more than river lice like you deserve. Well, let's see how you feel after you have some time alone to consider the error of your ways. She pushes me down hard, and I fall backward over the cot. Before I can get up, she's grabbed Fern. My sister screeches and tries to reach for me. Don't, I shout, scrambling to my feet. You're hurting her. You're lucky I don't do worse. Perhaps I should make her pay for your crimes. Miss Murphy shoves me out of the way as she passes by. Give me any more trouble and we will. I want to fight, but I don't let myself. I know that if I do, I'll only be hurting Fern. Be good, I tell my little sister. Be a good girl. The last thing I see is her feet sliding across a spill of coal dust as Miss Murphy drags her out the door. The lock turns, and I listen to Fern's cries getting further and farther away. Finally, they're gone altogether. So I just remembered that, like, with they're trying to like shine light on the fact that these are like based on like the fact that this Georgia Tan, she's a real person, as she was. And I just remembered over 500 children died in her, care, right? Because I was thinking, no, Camellia, she's gonna be okay because, like, they don't want to still lose their product. But actually, if they're doing trying to for a more true telling of how bad it was, then actually it would make sense that of the 5 children, at least one of them would. And now I'm even more concerned for what happened to Camellia if they'll find out. Okay. I fall on the cot and grab the blanket. By the way, I only have 2% on this phone, so I should probably stop soon anyway because I don't want it to die. I can't even see you. Okay. Uh, I fall on the cot and grab the blanket that still holds the warm spots from Fern and me and cry until there's not a tear left, and all I can do is stare at the ceiling. I wait all day, but nobody comes back for me. I open the cellar window and hear the kids playing outside. The sun goes high and then works its way west. Eventually, there's the dinner bell. After a while, the ceiling timbers rattle and everyone marches upstairs for bed. I'm hungry and thirsty, but mostly I just want Fern. They won't make her sleep someplace else, will they? Because of what I said? But they do. After the house goes quiet, I lay down again. My stomach growls and hurts like a rat's been chewing at it from the inside. My throat feels like someone's scratched it raw. I sleep and wake and sleep and wake. In the morning, Miss Polnick comes and brings me a pail of water and a ladle. Drink only small portions. You will be seeing no one for some time. You will be on restrictions. It's 3 more days before she brings food. I'm so hungry, I've started eating the peppermints rigged slips under the door, even though I hate myself for it. One day runs into the next, and the next, and the next. I read all the way through to the end of Huckleberry Finn, where Huck decides he'd rather run off to the Indian Territory than be adopted. I close my eyes and pretend I'm running off to the Indian Territory, too. I have big, pretty red horse with white socks and a blaze, like Tony the Wonder Horse and Tom Mix. My horse is faster than anything, and we just run and run and run. I start the book over again, and I'm back in Missouri on the shores of the big river. I travel along on Huckleberry Finn's raft to pass the days. At night, when the branches blow, I watch out the window looking for Zed or Silas or Briny under the street lamp. When it's windy, I see them standing there. A woman is with them. She's too stout to be Queenie. I think it's Miss Dodd. Just as they're there, they're gone again. I wonder if maybe I'm going soft in the head. Miss Polnick comes and takes my book away and tells me I got Miss Murphy in trouble with the bookmobile ladies. She calls me a thief and smacks me hard across the face for not reminding her that I still had the library's property. I'm not sure how I'll get by without Huckleberry Finn. I worry about Fern and how she's making out upstairs all on her own. Days and days and days pass by. I lose count of how many, but it's a long time before Miss Polnick finally takes me out of the room and brings me up to Miss Murphy's office. I stink almost as bad as a slop pot. My hair's knotted in a big dirty wad. The light upstairs is so bright, I stumble around and bump into things and have to feel my way. Miss Murphy is just a blurry shadow behind the desk. I squint to see her better, and then I realize that it's not Miss Murphy, it's Miss Tan. Miss Murphy is standing behind her by the window. Miss Polnick shoves me forward. My legs buckle and I fall hard on my knees. Miss Polnick grabs a handful of dress and hair and holds me there. Miss Tan stands up and leans over the desk. I think that is exactly where you belong, on your knees, begging forgiveness for all the trouble you've caused, for all the lies you've told about poor Miss Murphy. You are a wretched, ungrateful little thing, aren't you? Yes, I squeeze out a whisper. I'd say almost anything to get out of that room. Miss Murphy rams her fists into her hips, telling lies about my cousin, lurid, horrible little. Miss Tan lifts a hand and Miss Murphy clamps her mouth shut. Oh, I think May knows what she's done. I think she was just looking for attention. Is that the problem with you, May? Are you looking for attention? I don't know what to say, so I kneel there with my guts trembling and my chin quivering. Miss Polnick shoves me harder into the floor. Pain shoots down from the roots of my hair and up from my knees. Tears build inside me, but I can't let them show. Answer me. Miss Tan's voice fills the room like a thunderclap. She limps around the desk and stands over me with her finger wagging in my face. Her eyes are the cold gray of a winter storm. Yes, no. Well, which is it? I open my mouth, but nothing comes out. Her fingers close around my chin. She stretches my neck and leans close. I smell talcum powder and sour breath. So, no talkative not so talkative now, are we? Perhaps you've seen the error of your ways. I manage a tiny nod. A smile pinches her mouth, and her eyes take on a hungry shine, like she can feel the fear in me and she likes it. Perhaps you should have thought of that before you invented some ridiculous story about your fictitious sister and poor Mr. Riggs. Blood pounds in my head. I try to make sense of what she's saying, but I can't. There never was any Chameleia? Well, this is what they're saying. There never was any Chameleia. You and I both know that, don't we, May? There were 4 of you when you came here. Oh, no. Oh, no, poor Chameleia. Ah, there 2 little sisters and 1 little brother, only 4. And we've done a marvelous job in finding homes thus far, good homes. And for that, you are most grateful, aren't you? She motions to Miss Polnick. The weight lifts off my shoulders. Miss Tan pulls me up by my chin until I'm standing there in front of her. There will be no more of this nonsense out of you. Do you understand? I nod and hate myself at the same time. It's wrong. Everything I told Miss Dodd was true, but I can't go back in the basement. I have to find Fern and make sure they haven't hurt her. Fern is all I got left. Good. Miss Tan lets me go and folds her hands over the other and rocks back on her knees, her dress swaying around her knees. Miss Murphy laughs under her breath. Well, the little gutter snipes do have brains in their empty heads after all. Miss Tan's lips curve upward, but it's the kind of smile that makes you cold when you look at it. Even the most unwilling can be taught. It's only a matter of what means are needed to properly impart the lesson. She squints, looking me over from head to toe before the clock on the fireplace mantel chimes and grabs her attention. I really must be on my business. She brushes past, leaving her powdery scent in the room. I try not to breathe it in, but it sticks in my nose. Miss Murphy sits down at her desk and picks up some papers like she's forgotten I'm there. From now on, you will be grateful for my hospitality. Yes, could I see Fern now? It's all I can do to make myself ask, but I have to. Miss Murphy? She doesn't look up. Your sister is gone. She's been adopted. You'll never see her again. You may go outside for playtime with the other children now. Ah, this poor thing. Oh, man. Sorting through the papers, she picks up a pen. Miss Polnick, please be certain that May has a bath before you move her upstairs to her new bed tonight. I can't bear the smell of her. I will see that this is accomplished. Oh, sorry. Okay. This still a couple more pages, 2.5 in this chapter. Hmm. I really hope they at least find out what happened, like, more like to Chameleia. That's just so messed up. It reminds me of like when you think of crimes against like children, but like for example, a little girl, and you would hear like in the news, and it's like they must have been so scared, and who would help them, you know, like who would help her? Like all they did was tell her that she's ugly. Nobody cared about her. She got beat up, and then they killed her. Remember, they wrapped her in something, and they thought they'd bring her to the closet, and then said, "Oh, there never was anyone." Well, where would she have gone? Anyway, someone said they wanted about shoes. Like, don't know if they're still here, but they do have the polka dots on the bottom, so they're quite cute. Put these back away. I don't think I ripped them too much. The nuns, all right. It's just so sad. Was that supposed to cheer me up? Yeah. All right. I have to pee. I love you so much. Hope you're staying warm. I will see you tomorrow. I'll have to double check that I say good night and good morning because I don't want you to be worried about me. You don't need to be. I'm still here. Yeah. I didn't count how many bags in the garage today because some of it I was just throwing in like a almost like a Fisher tackle case and like a briefcase with random papers in it and like so it's not like just bags, but feeling it probably even more than if it was just bags because of how you can space it. A lot. It was a lot. So all right. I see you tomorrow. Love you.